And we have to go fly back to Zakvat Peak Space. It's a long trip. Is there anything we can visit on the way there? Beetlejuice? I guess. Yeah, I think that's where one of the alien homeworlds is. So we got the Swiffo, the Spathy, said one of the homeworlds was in a bug squirt system. So Beetlejuice. And then go to Alpha Tucanae. One aliens. Umga, I think, was in this. Yeah, Umga was in the Orionis cluster somewhere, and an unknown alien in the Draconis. So Beetlejuice, Zakvat Peak. Then we'll go here, and we can here. There's also the mystery star here on the 17th, so once we visit Omga, we might actually hop here and collect resources waiting for the star to appear. That sounds like a solid plan, I think. But first, Beetlejuice. We could have bought one more ship though. Our combat ship selection is really pathetic. The ships aren't bad, but they're not good against everything, so more variation would have been nice. But if we upgrade our main ship to do combat, we won't be relying on the actual support fleet much at all. So we will be trying to avoid some engagements. Especially with the Ur-Quan, we don't have one to engage any of them. No hostile ships detected. We should be arriving at Beetlejuice soon. It's not that far away. Yeah, I think that might be it. Okay, there might be a good place to find life forms in general. Radioactive world? Yeah. Very nice. Very safe too. A good start for our travels, I think. We want at least 20,000 resource units from this trip. We don't care that much, to be honest, about the biologicals at this point. They will be useful, I don't mean that, but gaining the basic technology was the important part, and we have that now. There are better technologies to get, especially in the ship combat area. Also, the Melnormes sell information, so that's something useful. And we can always buy fuel from them, so credits will never be They're always useful for something. Just saying that the absolute necessity we have already got what's absolutely necessary. Rest is just a bonus. Very nice bonus, but still. We can manage without. The tectonics was level 8, so I'm not gonna do it, even with the protection. Seed world. Oh. Okay. Slave world.
Attention, unidentified space vessel. Be warned. This slave world and its inhabitants belong to the Ur-Quan. I am Starbase Commander Talana of the slave planet Gaia. Your ship is not responding to standard hierarchy identification sequences. You are therefore classed as independent. And what? Is my monitor display correct? Is that a human commanding that vessel? Who are you?
We're the ethics police. Justify that costume immediately. Yeah, I do like that costume. But I can't see that being an official uniform. Very fascinating eyes of the woman. I don't like the makeup. It's a bit too whorish for my taste. Okay, there are a lot of we're greatly impressed here, and I'm the right one for you, baby. Yeah, these are terrible options. I can't bring myself to pick them. They're absolutely awful. So I'm Captain Archer of the flagship Enterprise.
Hello, Captain. But you haven't answered my question fully. Why are you here? Where are you from? Has the slave shield been lifted from Earth? Are the Ur-Quan finally defeated? Simply put, Captain, what do you want from us?
Yeah, what I need right now is a touch of vision. I don't mind to have erotic content in my games. Actually, it's one of my favorite games of all time, so quite a lot of it. But I don't like the fact that it's reduced to these kind of pickup lines and shitty jokes. If you're gonna do it seriously and properly. I don't mind the joke, but I mind the fact that that's all there is, really. Yeah, to be honest, we need your help to destroy the Ur-Quan.
Look, Captain, I like you. Even though you're an obnoxious human, I like you. In another time, we might have become good friends. Perhaps more. But that's a fantasy, and my job is dealing with reality. We're not going to do anything to jeopardize what we've got here. We've come too far, lost too much, to ever risk losing Gaia, our new home. Don't get all judgmental on me, Captain. You don't know what we've been through.
Would you tell me a bit about your people and your culture?
Our species are almost identical, almost too close a match to be just a coincidence. Our bodies are very similar, Captain. Except for certain parts. Our cultural development is also mostly parallel. Like you Earthlings, we evolved a society from primitive tribes whose main function was to protect themselves from the large reptiles native to our old world. The main difference between our two sets of cultures, the split in the paths of our development, occurred in what would have been your prehistory, say 5000 BCE. In your world, the agricultural communities were conquered by the more primitive, but also more aggressive migratory herding peoples. This led to a particular kind of sexual and political dominance structure which pervaded almost all of your Earth cultures until the early 21st century. On Syra, our only primitive migratory tribes were confined to our mountainous regions. Their herd beasts, the Weimar, did not do well in the agricultural basins and plains. The two cultures were isolated until much later, when the technological superiority of the farmers curtailed any major conflict.
Hey, what was Syra like?
It was our paradise, Captain, our Eden. Earth is the only world we know of whose variety and richness of life even comes close to Syra. Again, like so many other things about our two species, our worlds were very much the same, at least before you began encasing yours in concrete and plastic. Syra's gravity was a bit lighter than Earth's, and its day was 50% longer. Our diurnal cycle is therefore different from yours. We spend 20 hours awake, followed by 10 hours horizontal.
Okay, what happened?
This subject is very difficult for us, Captain, but I will try to recount those sad days. Like your solar system, ours had a large population of comets and asteroids. Large meteor impacts, though rare, were not unheard of on our planet. So it was not a total shock when an asteroid penetrated our atmosphere and hit the surface. What was odd was that unlike most other meteors, this one was not pulverized on impact. It penetrated the crust and indeed went all the way through to the mantle, causing a supervolcano. The earthquakes caused by the impact were severe. The magma pumped out of the caldera wreaked significant damage on the nearby terrain, but within a few weeks it had cooled, forming a solid rock bandage over the wound. Within a few months, we had cleaned up the mess. The caldera was calming down nicely, and things were pretty much back to normal. Then, just over a year after the impact, all hell broke loose on the surface of Syra. Huge calderas were opening all over, not just around the meteor impact, but everywhere. The scope of the disaster is impossible to imagine. Entire cities sliding into oceans of molten lava, kilometer-wide sections of land pulverized by a cataclysmic explosion, and clouds of poison gas and superheated steam created a death shroud around Syra.
So, Commander Talana, what are you doing here?
When the Ur-Quan conquered us over 20 years ago, I was only a young girl living in Habitat 31. My older sister Diani was a starship officer in the Space Patrol. She was part of the final defense at Raynet. She didn't make it back. When the Ur-Quan caught us in open space, we all thought we were going to die. But then, instead of killing us, the Ur-Quan offered us a choice. We could join the ranks of their combat thralls, or we could be slave-shielded in our homeworld. Like the people of Earth, we chose peace. We became fallow slaves. When the Ur-Quan told us to return to our homeworld, we explained that we had none. Ur-Quan Master 9 explained that they had encountered this situation before, and if we would provide them with a list of our requirements, they would use their extensive astronomical data stores to find a planet for us. So we told them about Syra, about the color of its sky, about the abundant life forms, about the fertility of the soil and seas. Less than an hour later, we received a terse message from Master 9. We were to proceed to these coordinates and disembark. This was to be our new home. But our new world, Gaia, was everything we described. We'd been searching for a home planet for 75 years, and in the end, it was our enemies who gave one to us. I grew up on a small island off the main continent, and like all of my people, we lived each day under the sick, red glow of the slave shield. When the Ur-Quan arrived 7 years ago to refurbish and recrew this starbase, I was selected as the new commander.
So, what happened to you at the end of the war?
When we first met your people, we've been wandering through the stars for almost 75 years, ever since the death of Syra, our home planet. We joined your alliance, and I use the word joined loosely, because we had no other choice. The Vox were raiding our slow habitat columns, and we had nowhere else to go. We fought for survival, Captain, nothing more. When your people on Earth were defeated, the Alliance just plain fell apart. The Yehat and Shofixi retreated to their native stars and didn't want us to follow. The Ariru, those creepy little weasels, just plain bugged out. Vanished, leaving us alone, with nowhere to go, smack in the path of the oncoming Ur-Quan armada. What were we supposed to do? Fight? 2/3 of our habitat fleet was unarmed. Many aren't even superluminal. We were going to be annihilated if we resisted, and we knew it. When the Ur-Quan surrounded us and started giving orders that all ended with, "or die," we took them at face value. We obeyed. In exchange, they gave us Gaia, the planet below. It's a beautiful world, Captain. I wish I could show it to you. So don't misunderstand me. We love our freedom as much as anybody else, but we've got a good life here, and we don't want to lose it.
Okay. If you love freedom and hate the Ur-Quan, why won't you help us?
Like I said before, Captain, we would like to help, but we are unwilling to risk losing Gaia. Unless you can find a much more compelling reason for us to get involved, you're on your own.
Yeah, goodbye, Commander Talana. I'll be back. We have another option to complain about the costume, but I think I'll pass.
Until then, Earthling.
She did mention that there might be a way to get her to support us, and that's if we can find a way to give them a sufficient reason to aid us. And there is one, but it's not. We don't have access to that option yet. Actually, save here now that we did some discussion.